Hello, this is Aaron Schulman with the Market Mastery Method. Welcome to the Brand Voice Validator framework, and let's dive in here. Your brand's voice isn't just about words, it's about connection, trust, and influence. The Brand Voice Validator helps you to craft a distinctive, compelling, and consistent brand voice that deeply resonates with your audience. So by following this structured framework that I developed, you'll clarify your identity, refine your messaging, and position your brand for maximum impact. And so going through this, here's what you're going to get out of it. You're going to get clarity and consistency. This will help you define your brand's core identity, the tone, and the messaging pillars, which are more in some other frameworks. Your audience alignment, which ensures your voice speaks directly to your ideal customers' needs and emotions. And your competitive edge will be developed by differentiating your brand while maintaining industry credibility. It's also a guided framework, so it's a step-by-step process that will help you choose and refine your brand voice. And then scalability, create a voice guide that evolves with your business and team. So kind of think of it like this. It's kind of like having a branding GPS that ensures every message stays on track so you never lose your audience's trust. And it's also kind of like having a personal stylist for your brand's personality. So this ensures that every interaction reflects your unique identity so you never blend into the crowd. So just to be clear, without a clear brand voice, your messaging will feel inconsistent, forgettable, untrustworthy, leading to lost customers, weak engagement, and brand that fades into the noise. So what you get by going through this and implementing it is with this brand voice validator, you're going to craft a powerful, consistent voice that captivates your audience, builds trust, sets you apart as a brand that they love and remember. And you don't want to leave your brand's success to chance, so take control of your messaging by going through this process. So let's dive in and start defining your brand voice right now. And so here is the framework for the Brand Voice Validator. And it's broken up in just a few steps. It's very simple to go through, but take your time. It's basically gives you the summary in the beginning. Download this and begin working through it. First, you're going to define your brand's core identity, and there's some examples in the framework so you understand what those different tones and identities represent. So just answer the questions. What's your brand's mission? What are the core values? What do you represent? What emotions do you want people to feel when they associate or interact with your brand? How do you want your audience to feel after engaging with your content? And so you want that all to align. And step 2, identify your target audience. By understanding your audiences, it helps determine the tone and style of your brand voice. So who's your ideal customer? We have frameworks that help you go through that and map that out in full detail in previous frameworks. What kind of tone and messaging resonates with them? What challenges do they face, and how does your brand help solve them? How does your audience currently perceive your brand? So we go into super depth detail with your avatar and your persona, basically your target audience, through a couple of the other frameworks that are in the Market Mastery Method. So this isn't going to go into that depth, but it's going to use those ideas to help you further give a guideline to your branding tone, okay, and your messaging and your presentation. Step 3, analyze your industry and competitors. You're going to go through here and look at some of your competitors. What are the common brand voices in your industry, and how do you want to align with your industry? Do you want to which one of the norms should you align with, and which ones do you want to stand out? Do you want to be a disruptor in a sense? Do you want to be more niche or more unique? Are there messaging gaps that your brand can fill that the other brands can't fill? And a great way to find some of these things is go to different forums online like Reddit, and also go to Amazon for some of the maybe top publishers or authors in your industry. And if you read some of the negative comments or some of the things that were left out in certain books or approaches, you can actually find specific things that you can address in your messaging to help fill in the gaps where people feel let down necessarily by some of the bigger names in the industry or certain methodologies or approaches. So it's a great way to fill in some gaps if you find consistencies that way when you do your research. Step 4, select your brand voice archetype. Okay, and I'm not going to go through all these, but this is it gives you an example of which kind of major archetypes or archetypes, it just depends on how you pronounce that, are out there. And it goes through examples. So here's an example, like authority. Do you want to be authoritative or an expert? Do you want to be an inspirational or a visionary? Do you want to be friendly, relatable? Do you want to be bold and rebellious? Do you want to be sophisticated and luxurious? Do you want to be playful and quirky, trustworthy and dependable? And oftentimes you'll find out that Most brands are a blend of a few of these. They usually have one, two, or three strengths, and you blend in. One's usually leading, but then you have, the other ones. A lot of times, especially in marketing, you want to have authority and empathy. So you want to have that idea that you know what you're talking about, but that you can totally relate to where your clients are at and where they need to go. Okay, so it's always a balance of those two. You don't want to be too much of one or the other, or you risk alienating half of your potential market. So go ahead and continue to work through these, figure out which brand voice best resonates with you, and utilize that when you're building out your guidelines. Then step 5, establish your brand voice guidelines. Define your tone spectrum. How formal, informal should your tone be? Should your messaging be serious, humorous, or somewhere in between? Set your do's and don'ts. What phrases, styles, and tones should be used consistently? What types of language and tones should be avoided? And then 3, create your key messaging pillars. These are generic, more general messaging pillars, but when you go through the market mastery message frameworks, you're going to actually create your one-liner, your one message that encompasses everything that you do. Not only will it encompass calling out your avatar and how you help them, but it's basically your unique selling proposition or your unique value proposition in one statement. And if you're able to, when you go through that framework, you're going to find out that you're going to leave, it's going to be measurable. You're going to give timelines and metrics and things like that within your one statement that makes you stand out from everyone else who you're competing with. So there's an example in here. And then finally implement this. What we've done here in this framework is simply then created a simple table at the bottom where you can, once you're working out the 5 steps of your brand voice, then you can work it out here, and then you'll have it forever. So without any further delay, jump in, get it done, and have fun doing it. If you have any questions, of course, reach out. Let me know. I'm here to help.